Hello, US 101 History Late Start class. Um, I would just like to have a brief moment, or I'm going to attempt to be brief, to try to help all of you moving forward. Um, because I'm seeing certain things that a lot of you are struggling with, and these late start classes can be very difficult, as I keep mentioning. But I just want to help you in terms of your strategy. So first of all, I want to make sure that all of you feel comfortable to reach out to me and set up a time to have a Zoom meeting. I do have Zoom office hours, or to have a conversation on the phone during reasonable hours to just kind of go over, anything to help you out. Okay. So with the papers, first of all, you're going to start to notice that I'm going to be, as the weeks progress, there'll be many more extra credit options instead of paper requirements. I don't mention that early on. I'm trying to get you all, in the flow of papers. I'm getting used to what you need to do, but you'll see some of the workload lighten up a little bit, and you will have the option of actually catching up if you're falling behind, where those papers will then be extra credit, not requirements again. So I hope that is clear. And so what I've been trying early on to get you all to understand is there are some very important elements to the papers that I'm looking at. I do not grade that hard, but I am looking for some very specific things that I'm trying to get all of you on board with right away. So I've posted an example in my earlier announcement of what I want to see on a paper, and a lot of you, frankly, have not looked at it, or you're not understanding the importance of, just why I posted that. So here is what's important. Okay, we all know that AI is the thing now, especially. And the Howard Zen book is very popular. It's been around for decades. Howard Zen is long past, and many all over the internet there are papers for college working with Howard Zen's his People's History. And I don't think negative. I mean, in other words, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But after teaching for over a decade, I can say that plagiarism is still alive and well. Every semester, no matter what I say, I get very overtly, papers that I catch fully plagiarized, and students confessing and, crying or feeling embarrassed. And I don't want you to go through all of that. Okay, I understand. Most of you, what it is you're just as busy as the rest of us. I have 3 jobs right now. I have a partner with a 4-year-old. I get it. And I was a single parent for, essentially, for a few years of my life. My daughter's much older now. So I guess what I'm saying is, sometimes the internet, it just makes it easy, to get, you're not trying to be lazy. You're desperate, right? So look, but what we professors have to do is make sure you all are, the papers have to be from you. And the citations are a way of showing that you are doing the work that is coming from information that is only being discussed in our class. So what do I expect to see? I am not having you do MLA, because in history, we use Chicago style at the university level. Many of you are going to say, what is Chicago style, Mr. Pollack? Well, you don't have to use that in my class. If you want to, you can look it up and you can research, or go to the Writing Center and you can do Chicago style. For the sake of this class, I am having you basically give me the title of the author from the textbook or the Zen book, or the author. So you could say People's History, or you could say Zen book, for example. And I want the page number of whatever online source. Now, if you're using an article from something that I post, then that article citation should be there in parentheses. If you use a video, I just want to see it says video one Pollock or documentary, a BBC documentary on blah, blah, blah. And when should I see a citation? The citation should always come after a paraphrase. Now, what's a paraphrase? It's when you write things in your own words, but you're getting information from somewhere else. So sometimes you might say something, additionally, Zen was making these points, blah, 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 blah. And I see some of you sending great papers like that. Well, after you're finished with kind of putting Zen's words or his ideas and explaining those, right after that should be the parentheses saying something like Zen, page 88 or just 88, something, okay? And you would also have one after a direct quote. That's also when you're going to see a citation. And for my class, and the way that I'm doing it, because I'm trying to get you all to just stick with the material, you don't even need to put a works cited like bibliography at the end of the paper, okay? I'm just looking, what I should be able to do is when I see your paper, I see the citation, and I should be able to just easily go to the video or the book and confirm that that's where the information came from, whether it's a direct quote or it's a paraphrase, okay? And then there should always be dates covering the time periods discussed. There should always be a history paper without anything indicating what time period that you're talking about is not a history paper, okay? So that's very important. Now, also, as I mentioned in one of my posts, the Turnitin should be a very low percentage, because even if you are citing properly, sometimes I have students, they will give me a paper that is, 60% direct quotes from the book. Now look, I used to do this, I'm going to be honest, at MJC, okay? So no judgment, but the professor wants to see things in your own words. So if 60% shows up on Turnitin, it means that 60% of the paper wasn't written by you, right? You just cut and pasted or typed out the thoughts directly from the book. Well, I already know what the book says. This is a skill that you're learning of how to take information and synthesize it to bring it into your own, to simply speak in your own words. Keep in mind that a lot of law offices, a lot of lawyers are history majors first before they go into law. And partly it's because if you are a history major, you do a lot of basically like you're a cliff note maker. You will read a document, you'll read a book, and then you will break down in your own words in a shortened form what that text said and have it documented. So a lawyer, right, will send a paralegal, or their team will look over court cases and then try to see what the precedent has been for the case they're trying to deal with, and then have it all put in their own words and kind of, bring that stack together. Are you all feeling me on this? I hope so. Okay. So this is, in a sense, what you're doing as well. So you're getting a skill set from this that's not just learning about the history information, but you are learning how to put things into your own words and then having some documentation of where you got that information from. That's so important. This is the whole point of papers. Now, I realize that you're getting a lot of work because this is a late start class. And so, having said that, if you are going to have late work, I have a policy that you cannot turn in late work unless you get prior permission. Now, you don't need permission if it's over, like, let's say, if I said it was due on Sunday night at midnight and you can turn it in at 6 in the morning or 8 in the morning, that's different. But after 8 hours from midnight, I need you to communicate with me. And if you turn in late work, so I've been not doing this with a lot of folks, but if you turn in late work and you didn't get prior approval, I automatically reject the work permanently. That's my policy. So make sure you do that. Now, there are many of you who are letting me know you have a lot of circumstances, and some have really proven that to me through documentation, that is creating a huge obstacle to you to get your work done. And so there's several things. So first of all, if I give you approval for late work, while I'm grading, I'm probably going to put zeros for two reasons. One, I start forgetting all the different students I made arrangements with. I have hundreds of students. And more importantly is, if I don't grade it, it makes it look like your grade is higher than it really is. And sometimes students, as they're getting behind, might see that they have an 80%, but they're really in actuality at 40% grade. But I've been letting them say, okay, they'll say, I have surgery, car broke down, whatever. And they're moving on, and they're not realizing how far behind they are. And then by the time that we're trying to, hurry up and get the semester over, they had no idea just how bad off they were. Even though they could have looked, but okay, I get it. So when I give you approval for late work, don't freak out if you get the zero. What it means is if I give you approval to turn in late work, when you turn it in, I will grade it, and as long as it's done correctly, you'll get 100% of the points that you would get for this class. So just keep that in mind, okay? The last thing, I know that, I'm going to start posting the assignments saying the week part 1, part 2. For most weeks now, we are having a part 1 and part 2. One batch is due on a Thursday night, and the other batch is due on a Sunday night. Now, in the case of this week, for example, I'm having the one paper that would normally be due on a Thursday to actually be due on a Sunday. And I might do things like that more often to give you guys a little extra time for the required papers, okay? I realize for some of you, you get a little bit confused. Sometimes you're putting the wrong work in, or you're just getting jumbled up and you're getting behind, you're forgetting. Look, it's very consistent. Most weeks, it's going to be part 1 and part 2. I'll let you know as we get to the end of the class, you will have actually some weeks where it's just it won't be broken up into 2, and you'll have a little bit less of a load. If I change anything, I'll always give you less work instead of more. But you got to follow. I do communicate through my announcements. I do make posts. And again, if you have questions, problems, confusion, I am going to do my best to work with you. I don't want you to give up. But some of you are getting very far behind. And right now, you need to find a way to start getting the work in, okay? So if you need any help on that, once again, please contact me. I'm here to support you. I understand, and I want you to succeed in this class. That's my whole goal. So having said that, take care of yourselves. A lot going on in the world, and we'll be in touch.